It was just different. It just felt like something that was written. There were so many different layers and so many different genres. There was a kind of horror theme running throughout it. There was and humour. It was dark, and there's a massive car race, which is very exciting. But I just found the characters quite natural and normal, and they've just been thrown into this situation where they're trying to win this race in order to find this nirvana, this paradise. And does this island actually exist that is the star prize for the winner? And I like the character. I like the general, his character. I found that I could have a lot of fun with him, and I could push it to a certain extremes and experiment and play around with the part. And he's a bit of a psychopath, but he's very charming with it. And to play alongside a lovely co-star, Rose Williams, playing Faith, and we got on very well, and she's a very talented lady.
But it ticked all the boxes, harked back to all of my, certainly all of my favorite cinematic references. It was all my favorite movies and genres, from a period where I grew up, shaping my, or sharpening my cinematic teeth, movies from the 70s and 80s, a genre of just pure entertainment. But you find yourself really invested in the characters' journeys. You were following, family units, fierce individuals, people who who created units themselves, social activists, punks, it kind of addressed a cross-section of humanity, but with a spirit that was just genuinely cool. And it's hard to find genuine cool on such a broad commercial basis. And that was what really sold it for me. I was like, okay, this isn't gonna be, you don't have to drag this thing kicking and screaming into a zone of like, I hope this thing is cool. It just already was, and it's just a question of, how much fun we're gonna have making it.
I read the script, and I was like, I just couldn't figure it out. It was like comedy, it's thriller, it's action, it's drama, it's all of these things. And I was like, I've never read anything like this. And I didn't get it. And then I spoke to Colm, the producer-director, and he just explained the vision to me, and I was like, I have to do this thing. Like, it's crazy, in the best possible way.
I think it's rare as well to get, as an actor, to do action on TV. It's a domain you really think of as being of the film world, and with this, there's the scope, because you've got 8 episodes, you get a lot of action, which is great. And as a woman, it's quite rare to get to do that kind of stuff. And for me, reading the scripts, it's got a high content of badass women in it, which is amazing to see. And particularly the character that I play, I get to run around with weapons and stuff. It's it's a different, as a British actress, you do a lot of period drama, so it's nice to change it up.
A long story. So we were Tiger Aspect, Frith and myself, and have been developing Curfew originally as a movie, and then into a TV show with Matthew Reed, who was writing it. As we were developing it, we were deciding to set up a new company, and the timing just all kind of happened that we wanted to make the show. We wanted to leave the company and set up Moonage. We did a deal, and everyone's happy. So we're making it with Tiger. We've still got great friends at Tiger who have been part of this journey. Because the script was great. It's a really good script, and we were taking it around, and it just felt that even if we got the budget that we needed to make it as a movie, it wouldn't be special enough unless you were going to get like 100 million or 150 million to make exceptional. That was just with TV at this time, this was like 5 years ago that we changed it. It felt like TV was changing. TV was becoming this kind of box set, this big stories, almost like novels, and I think it just felt like, God, if we could find the money to make the show we want to make in the TV world and do it over 8 hours and really delve into the characters, then I think that would be one of a kind. And it's that thing of, you always want every show you make to be like nothing else, and I think that's what was exciting. And I think in the movie world, I think it might have felt a bit like other things. As a TV show, there's nothing else like it.
And I think it matched Anne's aspiration for Sky Drama at exactly the same moment as well, that I was involved in doing Fortitude, which felt like a bit of a game changer, and it was sort of, what do you want to do next? And we were already developing Curfew, and it was just like, well, if you've got the appetite for something that'll never seen on BBC One, but we can really push the boat out and do it. So I think it's that really great time when a broadcaster's ambitions for what the kind of stories they want to tell matches producer and writer and backing it really.
We've done more television with each other than with other people, that we've worked together a bunch and worked with Frith a load and worked with Matthew when he was an exec at the BBC, and Matthew and I had been looking for something to do with him as a writer and me as a director, and I was aware about Curfew's development, which was a long period of that film development first and stuff, and I think I was in a car driving with Matthew Reed from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and he started talking a lot about Curfew during that journey, and we were driving quite fast, listening to loud music, and that's sort of the core of the show in a lot of ways, is that feeling that people know of like driving somewhere amazing at a reasonable velocity with music that makes your heart soar, and that being kind of a big part of what the feeling of the show is. And just talking about it, that's when it started to be like, oh, this would actually be really good fun to go and do. So that was the kind of the sort of hook into it. And then reading Matthew's early script, I was like, there's nothing like this on television, and it feels like uniquely formatted as a TV show, with it makes a benefit of its ensemble cast in a way that you can't do in movies, but you can do in television, and the opportunity to do something that's massive in scale in terms of stunts and visual effects, but very human and personal in terms of the drama in it, was really exciting and something any director would want to be involved with.
I wish I had actually physically prepared, because it was physically grueling. We were working very long days, mainly at night, and the toll on your body is huge. In terms of the actual character preparation, I think it's the same as doing a sort of chamber piece.
There was certainly some training that was required for cast members engaged in wicked gunplay, and I think everyone did a degree of some work on the driving range, and I don't mean golf. But yeah, as far as the drama was concerned, it was all kind of in our wheelhouse. The mental preparedness and physical preparedness for the level of, how taxing the process was something I guess you could have been a little more prepared for. Should have known going in. But it was worth every minute. We know now what's neat. The calendar will be filled with Gonna prime the diet, I think, a little bit ahead of time, and the schedule and the sleep schedule, and add a few more push-ups, I think, beforehand.
Sean Bean, very early on, we were talking about, oh my God, if we could get Sean Bean to be the general, that would be, and we got him, so that was great, and Billy Zane is like, a personal favourite of Matthew and myself, huge fans. So but look, it's always an adventure with casting, because it's it's a very busy time. So, but I love the cast that we pulled together, and not just kind of the big names, but some really great new faces as well in there. That Colm found some extraordinary talent.
It's unusual to have kind of marquee names that, as a sort of, especially as a genre fan, that kind of mean something to you, and then really quality actors who've kind of got a credibility to them, and then new faces who are exciting, and we've kind of got all three, sometimes in the same people, but like, you know, and sometimes spread amongst them, and it's very exciting, you know, that during the filming the start of the race sequence where we had everybody on set, and we were kind of like, you know, you've got Sean Bean and Billy Zane, and then we had to, one evening where we had to shoot around one of the kids who had to go back for her drama school graduation ceremony in the middle of that block. You know, that's a great situation to be in, very exciting.
You kind of learn his backstory later on in further episodes, but he was a criminal. He was a very wealthy criminal, very successful. He was well respected, and you know, life was going so well. He had a lovely wife and lovely kids, and then there's an awful tragedy that kind of changes everything for him. There's a kind of moment of, there's a period of kind of solitude, or, you know, kind of him coming to terms with this awful kind of tragedy, and he kind of hooks up with the babysitter of the children, and I think that's probably because of it keeps his idea, his thoughts of his family in his mind still. He sees her as some comfort, that she's still someone from that world that is still around, and then he gets her pregnant, and they kind of hook up together, and she's 9 months pregnant when you first see us two together, and we're just starting this race, and she kind of quite game. She's a very strong woman. She goes along with it, but she discovers that his behaviour is so irrational and so reckless and so dangerous, such a dangerous man to be around, that she starts having second thoughts about the future with the general, and also especially with the future for the baby.
It's really easy, because the most exciting way to make any action sequence like the race stuff really land for an audience is to put them into the race, and the best place to put them into the race is to be beside them, with them, watching what they're doing while they're doing it. So you know, the opening of the actual race moment, we knew that we would want to put, one of the starting places for me in terms of a way into it was knowing that I would want to, when the race started and all 30 odd vehicles are all driving each other and literally crashing into each other, and we've got 30 odd stunt drivers, that I wanted to have Phoebe, who plays Kay, driving the ambulance with us with a camera inside the ambulance while she was doing it, and everybody's driving into her and her really driving. And that's like the most exciting way to do the stunts, but it's also the most character-led way of being with that person. And as soon as you take that point of view on the story, then everything else falls into place.
The stunts are incredibly difficult. I think that in the interests of time and money, they just had the stunt guys do it, because I'm not sure, I speak for myself here, I was not capable of doing those things, especially not in an ambulance. And actually the stunt department was just a whole other world. You know, while we were filming, they were also filming, so you didn't connect with it that often, and then when you did and they'd show you what they'd been filming, you'd be like, oh my God, wow, I'm such a good driver. I love that. Love how you're making me come across.
That wasn't you? Of course it was you.
Yeah.
She did everything.
So I usually love doing my own stunts, and so I came on, it's like, yeah, I can drive, I've been driving a couple of years, I can do that, and it's like, no, it's probably best that I can do it, it's fine. It's like, okay, how about you watch one, and then, so I watched the stunt guy, he was amazing, do one of the stunts, and I'm watching him, I'm like, no, you're good. You got it. It's literally that, because yeah, they were doing some crazy stunts on this. It was incredible to watch, and also a bit like, is he okay? Do you know what I mean? But it's gonna make the show look great.
I think over the last 5-10 years, the opportunities to work in film, but especially television, they've become lots more opportunity now, and lots more kind of choice in in not just the characters that I play, but the actual stories and the films themselves and directors. And I think people are much more willing to invest in something a little bit different now, where it's a tried and tested kind of format that we're so used to seeing, the cop show, this and that and that. And I think people are willing to take a risk with some interesting people. Colm McCarthy, who directed, and Chris Smith, who directed the later episodes. They're really quick, switched-on people with great imaginations, and it's people like that. I love to work with people like that. I love to have the opportunity to do something surreal and different and experimental, and it's just high-quality stuff. Television is very high quality now.
There's nothing like it. It's entirely refreshing. The risk reward of this undertaking was, dangerous. This could either have missed the mark entirely because it was very advantageous to try to put, these genres together and anchor them around characters who you care about, but still pull off, ticking the boxes and balancing, irreverent, really funny comedy, great stunts, wild action, high drama, with a cinematic level of aesthetic, and pulling that off and riding that fine line, hitting that target, is the chances of doing that are so slim. But if you get it right, you nail it, and you nail the day. And I'm not just saying this because we're marketing this show. We hit it, and as a result of swinging for it, you got to go there, which is why I think we all signed up. We went, if they pull this off, this is going to be the business, and everyone's going to want to watch this because no one would take that chance. And as a result, you have procedurals, which are great. You have, your rural, your dramas. You have your whodunits. You have your, comedies. They're all very siloed and very safe, and you know what you're going to get. And there are variations, and there's incredible offerings. I mean, TV has never been better, as we've been saying. And there's exceptional performances going on. There's incredible writing that's going on. There's nothing I've seen that comes close to the satisfaction of pure entertainment while being, this engaging.
It's real. It's one of the only shows that I've come across anyway, where you have these crazy car chases and races, and you have these creatures.
The creatures. We didn't even talk about creatures. We got monsters.
There's monsters in it, and there's these really high stakes, but at the core of it, there's real people. That I think people will actually be able to identify with and go, oh, I could picture myself in that scenario, and I think that's a rare thing to come across in the action genre, to find actually people that come across as human.
They are your friends, your next door neighbours. They are yourself. They are, people that you know.
You aspire to how they react to the level of absurdity. It's basically a serve-up of what could possibly be in the most extreme condition. In these turbulent times where it's anyone's guess what the hell's going down, right? In any news cycle. This show offers you someone to hang on to, and if not a variety that you aspire to and you find a kinship with, that is basically dealing with such a mixed bag of tricks in crisis that it's a lifeline and an anchor to kind of, it's a roadmap and a kind of a security blanket in the same respect. I got this because they got it. We're good.